Hey there, hope you're doing well. Show you guys consider this when you're running your brand. So I'm gonna keep this video like really short. I know I apologize for the goofy look again. I'm just testing out different audio sounds. Just want to test it out. This little microphone and headset setup that I have. Maybe hopefully it works. I hope. We'll see. Thanks for watching this video. I'm just going to be going over the pains of running a brand and things you consider when you're running your own. So why trust me? Well, I've helped several ecom brands in the past scale through um, leveraging paid or organic traffic. So in a way, I understand some of their pains and some things that they have to go through, especially on the marketing side of things. So I definitely understand the stuff that they goes through in their heads, the stuff that they worry about. So I guess in a way that's kind of how you should trust me. So, obviously running a brand can be painful. And even though I never really owned any comp store of my own or some sort of brand, I guess you can say like this isn't a brand, but like a business type brand. I've never really. I mean, I've seen the pain in my clients' eyes. I've understood what goes through their minds. I know what runs through their head, inside and out. So I understand how it can be like, and especially when you're not making enough sales, you need to pay the bills, or you've been stuck on what to do to get to the next stage. It sucks, and I've seen it. I've seen them go through it, and yeah, obviously it does suck, and that's why I kind of do the services that I do to help them. But it does suck having to go through that in their shoes, right? Walk them out in their shoes, see how it's like, right? But when you have a brand, your goal is obviously to be, number one, right? And at least it should be if it's not. So you're basically focused on how you can get to the next level. So how will you get there? Well, consider this. Kind of, kind of sounded like Bill Nye the Science Guy. If you remember, Bill Nye, he used to say, "Consider this," and then, or consider the following, and it's like a scientific step. I never really cared much for Bill Nye, let alone that stuff, but it just gave me a little like nostalgic feel to that. Anyways, now that I got a little off track from that, sorry, I'm adjusting my headset. For the record, I'm not going to talk about logistics in this video. I know nothing about that. That's not my thing. That's not my area of expertise. So if you came here for that, this video is not for you, but feel free to stick around because you'll still learn something. So number one is your emotional connection, and this is a very crucial part, right? Your emotional connection, alongside your customers' connection to it, right? Um, Understand, the purpose of your brand and why you have it, and once you're able to do that, it definitely becomes a lot easier to run it. But put that into the perspective of your main base and your customers, and I guess the demographic that you reach out to. Like, understand why it resonates with them, and try to have some sort of connection with that, and understand that even though um, they see it differently than you do, they still resonate with it, and it's something that you want to build upon, right? So, if you don't have a connection to your brand, if you literally do not have any sort of connection to your brand, who will? And I guess that's kind of me implying that you need to have some sort of connection, whether it's an emotional, especially an emotional, but whether it's like an emotional one, whether it's one where it's you have a connection to your brand that you love doing it. I guess in a way that's kind of an emotional connection, but having some sort of connection to the brand and the goals, I think is all that matters. And your story, I think your story is something that can really really get there. So it kind of intertwines with the emotional aspect as well, but pretty much the story of how your brand came to be um, can really allow you to develop that emotional connection. It obviously also resonates with the consumer base as well, right? So even when you progress to the next stage with your brand, basically think about that time. You can also think about that time where you were hustling to get where you are, or doing everything you can to where you wanted to be, right? And that might be the case for you right now, or maybe in the coming years if you want to start your own. Obviously, you're going to have that time where you're building up everything. You're starting from the ground up, doing everything by yourself, most likely, right? Unless you have some sort of team with you, but typically for the most part you're going to be on your own doing this, and obviously you're going to have to deal with all the setbacks and all the things that are going through your mind, and that I guess that can also add to your story and add to um, what your brand is about, and could definitely resonate with a lot of people. So the third is free traffic, and this can literally be from posting threads on Twitter, or posting a tweet, posting on Reddit or another forum, or even on Facebook groups, or even doing like promos with like influencers, um, or better yet, TikTok organic, which is kind of what I talk about mostly. So the goal here is to get people to notice you and eventually buy from you, and pretty much a good way. It's a really good way to funnel people into being customers. If you're able to utilize traffic, whether it's paid or free, or however you get it, whether through organically as well. If you're able to get that sort of traffic to come to your website, you could definitely get a lot of people looking at what you do and definitely interested in it as well, and have some sort of LTV. And what do I mean by LTV? Let's say you don't know what LTV means. Honestly, if you don't know what LTV means, what the hell are you doing? Like, genuinely, what are you doing? Because it's basically lifetime value. It's basically like the amount a customer will pay you over a period of time, which in that period of time is basically the time as a consumer or a customer for you and your brand or your business or your service, whatever the case is. Right, so you want to have some sort of product or service that has a long LTV, considering you basically get a solid cash flow from them, and basically have some sort of system where they come back to you and continue to purchase their products. A good example of this would be like a clothing line. Like, let's say like they're a really big fan of the clothing that you make, and they buy a hoodie or a t-shirt from you, and then months down the road, or the next drop you make, they buy another thing. That's kind of an example. Another example would be like, I guess if I were to put it in an actual brand, I'd say like Nerf guns. Let's say the next Nerf collection drops out, and you know you're a big Nerf collector. You want the next Nerf gun, right? So you buy the next Nerf gun. That's an example of LTV, of customer LTV. You're just adding onto your LTV for Nerf, basically. And this also works for B2B services, service-based businesses, or even like I mentioned earlier, like an e-com business with a variety of products, right? So in other words, you basically want to set your brand up in a way where you're able to get people to come back to you for more. So that's pretty much the gist of it. And the last thing, you want to utilize influencers and paid promos. So you definitely want to take advantage of this as much as you can. And like I definitely mean that. Whether it's having some sort of affiliate marketing system to have influencers to use a code, or even just random customers as well. I know there's if you're on Shopify, if you use Shopify, there's an app called Social Snowball, that goes more in depth on affiliate marketing. It's like you get a code, you buy from a store, you get this code and you share that code, and it's like a snowball. That's kind of the point of it. It's like as more people buy the brand, you're able to share that um, brand awareness, and contribute it to other people where they're also able to pitch in, and you could also there's also a way that you can also make some money from that as well, from what I hear. So it's definitely an interesting dynamic. But like I said, it's a good way to definitely especially if you're an e-com brand owner, to definitely get people looking at your brand, and possibly even buying your products from someone, to especially from like a referral of some kind. So paying influencers to showcase your product as well, using their following. It's kind of the same thing as like affiliate marketing, but um, could be for like you actually pay them to make a video of some sort, and paying accounts on social media to do posts showcasing your products. Like, for example, paid promos where like you go to, for example, think of the Wealth Instagram page. You go on Instagram and you search up Wealth. Like, there's all these influencers. There's always those posts where it's like, this guy's made 3 million doing YouTube automation or whatever the hell, right? And it's like, you obviously know that's a paid promo. Like, there's no way this Wealth is just gonna sit there and say that. But obviously he paid a decent amount of money for Wealth to post that, right? And he's using that following that Wealth has, which is over 3-4 million, and all he needs is just a small percentage of that people to be interested, and boom, he's making some sales from that. Right, so you basically have to get a way to get eyeballs on your product. That's pretty much all that matters, and obviously have them convert, and make your products interesting, and make your offer interesting to the point where people want to buy. Right, so if let's say you had 100,000 people seeing your products. Let's say you had some sort of e-com brand. Let's say, I don't know, like you had some sort of incense that releases a good smell that you could use on your car, you could use in your room, you could use anywhere you go. Right, um, and you get 100,000 people looking at that, and 3% of those people click on the website link and buy the product that's worth, like, let's say it's worth $30, right? And boom, you just made sales from that. And I would say it's free, but not really, because you're paying for that promo, obviously, unless you somehow do it for free, right? But basically, the whole point is you just want to get people to get eyeballs on your product, and obviously convert that into sales. So what are you waiting for? What's stopping you from doing this? Like, you know, we're in the new year. Obviously, people have new goals. People have new things to set out for. Like, what are you waiting for? What's stopping you from doing that? So definitely recommend taking these into account and definitely taking action into that. So pretty much that's going to be it for this video. I know I kind of went on for too long. I didn't expect a 2-page document or 3-page document to be like 11 minutes long, but that's pretty much going to be the gist of this video. I don't want to go on for more. So yeah, I just hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and yeah, I hope to see you in the next video.